bestbookbits.com brings you the book summary of The $1 Billion Secret, 20 Principles of Billionaire Wealth and Success by Rafael Badziag. Based on the face-to-face interviews with over 20 self-made billionaires, there are thousands of books on millionaire thinking. The knowledge they offer isn't enough to get you to the highest ranks of wealth. The richest people of our times are billionaires. Only 1 in 5 million world citizens belongs to this group. Billionaires are extremely rare, and their mindset differs hugely from that of the ordinary millionaires. The $1 Billion Secret offers first-hand knowledge of billionaire entrepreneurs told in their own words. Never before has someone interviewed 20 self-made billionaires across the world for a book project. The author worked for years with some of the very best entrepreneurs on the planet and distilled their secrets into 20 mental principles that enabled them to start from zero and create billions of dollars in value during one lifespan. This book gives you the roadmap to follow their path to extreme wealth and success. On with the book summary. The first one is a realization that you can overcome all unfavorable conditions and become extraordinarily successful in business despite or maybe because of them. It's your inner workings that make you excel in business, not the conditions outside you. Millionaires are strong to take their lives into their hands, but still believe their success depends on favorable conditions. Billionaires know they have it inside them, and they make it big in business independently of external factors. For a car, the limit is given by its construction. For you as an entrepreneur, it's given by your inner setup, your mindset, your belief system, your attitude, your worldview, your motivation, your skills, your habits, your knowledge, and your personality. Tai Dongqing, called the Chinese Walt Disney, stresses that you need to dare to dream and fight for it. Asked about the difference between millionaires and billionaires, he says they have different goals which will decide whether they're going to feel satisfied with the status quo after they've reached the first level of success. That's also what Frank Stornich, the Canadian billionaire and founder of Magna, confirms. Once you stop dreaming, you're a dead person. There's no limit in dreaming. It's unlimited. Knowledge is limited. You must always have dreams. Once you have a dream, then you daydream. And then you say what you have to do to maybe fulfill those dreams. If you're going to take a bite, take a really big bite. A really big bite. So your mouth is full and there's blood running down the side of your mouth and on your chin and on your chest. And that's what you should be doing. Do something big and worthwhile. If it's going to bother taking a bite, take a big bite. You do, you die. You don't do, you also die, right? You've got one bloody life. Do your best and die. So if that's the case, then you should challenge yourself and maximize yourself. Leave a legacy as much as you can. There's a sense of achievement. What do I live for? Sorry, I don't live for God. I'm living for glory. The sense of achievement and what you can achieve before your run out of date comes. You create something and leave something behind. How big is your heart? How big is the dream? That's the key difference. How big your heart is determines how big is your vision. And this, as we know, determines how big will be your results. I think if you want to achieve something in business, the worst thing is a good salary, because you don't become rich with that, but also you have the guarantee. Most people give something away for their safety. Safety means to have a lifelong job. This is a dream of the 99.9% of people, so don't trade your future for safety. It's a bad trade. Lero didn't do it and shouldn't either. Also, don't become a prisoner of your lifestyle. At the end of the day, does anything matter other than laying on your deathbed and either you lived the life you wanted or the life you didn't? I think as human beings, we do so many things in the world to look good in front of other people, but I think on our deathbed, looking good in front of other people means absolutely nothing. And I think about how many things that would have been incredible in my life that I didn't do because I didn't want to get turned down by that girl, or I didn't want that guy to think that I wasn't smart, or I didn't want something in that kind of realm. We only have 35,000 days on this earth, and then you're gone, and no one gives a shit after that. You're a little speck of germ in the whole universe, so it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. It's a matter of, did I completely fulfill every second of my life? It helps to stop doing a lot of things that aren't really, really, really important. Sometimes I think, if I only had 3 months to live, how would I change my calendar? What projects would I do? What wouldn't I do? It really helps me prioritize, because I find myself taking on things I should do or things that are really important. I can't stand going to my deathbed and having an idea untried. I need to find out whether it's viable or not. Naveen Jain, after having built several multi-billion-dollar companies, still claims to be at the beginning. While I'm very early in this book, only a few chapters have been written, the majority of the chapters are yet to be written, and I'm going after every one of my major industries. I started with space, and I'm going into healthcare. Next thing I'll probably attack will be education. I'll probably attack the food, and I'm going to continue to attack these biggest problems, because I know the biggest problems are the biggest opportunities for an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, I really think if I can solve any of these big problems, there is a massive business to be created. I think not many people want to go above a certain level. Once people have achieved the amount of success that will support more than their lifestyle for the rest of their lives, people get disincentivized from that. And there aren't many who want to go on and on and on and on. I think to go way beyond, you've got to want to make it bigger and better all the time, no matter how big. You've got to want to rule the world. I spend only a tiny percentage of my income. Optimists are the ones who accomplish everything. Pessimists don't accomplish anything. Pessimists just give you all the reasons why it's not going to work. All of us are capable of far more than we think we are. We have so much inherent potential, so believe in yourself. Tim Draper had a similar perspective. Anything that can be imagined can actually happen. I watched Star Trek when I was younger, and there's a communicator now. It's the smartphone. There's a holodeck. It's a VR. The tricorder reading, that's happening. We pretty much have done everything except space travel to all the different planets. One of his lifetime motives is anything is possible. There were always guys in my class who were smarter than I was. Even now, I never think myself as the smartest guy in the room. I try to instill in the students confidence and courage. I tell them that if they believe and they work hard, I worked very hard, they can be successful like me. I also tell them you have to have it in the bottom of your heart. If you're trying to do something extraordinary, you will be ridiculed. Billionaires don't do it for money. It's not the money that drives them, but the fun of the game. Billionaires focus on solving problems, not on making money. If you want to be really successful in business, first find a problem and solve it, advises Dilip Shangvi. If you can solve a problem that is currently unsolved, you can create an interesting business opportunity. Don't start a business to make money as an objective. Money is just an outcome. And here we come to the next billionaire motivation, winning. In order to win, you need to become the best, and for that, you need to compete. I'm not a religious guy, so I kind of see life as you must be here for a purpose. So if you're here for a purpose, you've got to maximize and be as successful as you can be and make something out of nothing for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your people, and leave something behind that probably people can learn from. I don't think you're successful in business unless you understand people. One of my favorite subjects during medical school was psychiatry. People say, "Oh, did you do accounting? Did you do finance?" And my answer is no, I didn't. You can hire accountants, you can hire lawyers, you can hire professional people. Business is all about people. Business is all about people. How do you get them to do what you want them to do? How do you reward them? How do you make them feel good about themselves? How do you get them to accept the direction? The self-made billionaires that I interviewed get up on average at 5:30 a.m. with some variation to it. Result is always what follows. There's no point in doing anything in life unless it's 100%. You might as well do something else. Out of all the 21 billionaires I interviewed for the book, only one was a smoker. All the rest either have never smoked in their lives or gave up smoking long ago. Reading is, together with exercise, the activity that billionaires spend time on regularly. Almost all the interviews name reading as one of the favorite hobbies they follow daily. Chip Wilson approaches every day in a systematic way. Asked what is the first thing he does in the office, he says, I sit down and I think about what my number one priority is of the day. What is my goal to get done for the day? And I look at the calendar and go, okay, is my calendar right? Actually, do that the night before, so I rearrange things. Then I go, has anything changed between last night and this morning? And what do I need to do? I need to actually insert it into my calendar to give my time to it. I wake up every morning and do things I don't like. I force myself to do them every day because I'm not hardworking. I force myself to do hard work. I am not systematic. I have to force myself to become systematic. I like playing football, but I didn't feel like doing physical exercise. But to keep playing, I forced myself to exercise every day, do push-ups, curl-ups. I swim in the pool. It takes me 40 minutes in the morning and often 40 minutes in the evening. I don't like that in principle, but I do it simply. Generally, after doing some exercise, I feel better. But I don't like exercise in phase of itself. If I could achieve the same effect without doing those exercises, I wouldn't do it. Well, but I do them every day. I have to persuade those lazy bones that are in me, and they keep telling me, today I think I woke up late, or I'm in a hurry, no time. I don't feel well enough. But then I respond to myself, no way. Don't cheat yourself, bud. You simply feel lazy. And I do it. In this way, I learned about consequences and determination. Our family was very poor, in fact, but I never wanted to be defeated by that. Hard life is not a problem. I had to stay on and work step by step toward the success in that direction. So I never wanted to give up, never wanted to say, I will be defeated. That was a very clear mission. First mission, I wanted to get out of poverty. Second, try to have a good life. That was a direction. Not showing up to the opportunity can come extremely expensive. You may think such opportunities never occur in your life, but think about it. How many opportunities have you missed in your life? How many opportunities have passed before your eyes that you haven't noticed? How many opportunities have existed right now that you are not aware of? Are you sure none of those could turn out to be $1 billion opportunity? Most of my failures were failures to act. I think what you really need is good eyesight, not good foresight, and not good hindsight. Every one of us has great hindsight. I can tell you exactly what you could have done. Some people claim to have foresight. I can tell you what's going to happen in the future, but I can tell you as a great entrepreneur, what you need is good eyesight. See what's in front of you and be able to see here's an opportunity. Speed is important. Speed of action is the quality of most billionaires. They follow the motto, act now and think later. It doesn't matter whether you're going to die in an aeroplane crash tomorrow or you're going to die. So years from now, you've got to treat every day and every second as though you're going to only have a day to live. And there's no time to waste, especially talking to boring people or to people that are complainers or people that aren't going to be great in life. There's only one life to live. There's no time to waste. It's got to be great or nothing. Treat every day and every second as though you're going to only have a day to live. There's no time to waste. If I had that hotel, if I had that shopping center, if I had that car, if I had that much money, it's endless. You can always envy your competitors. Sell your hotel. Everyone can see the Ritz. My success thinking is to always start with what you have. Never focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you have and make the most out of it. Do the best out of what you have. Also, Manny Stoll considers luck as the main difference between them, but he stresses you can make your own luck. Differences between a millionaire and a billionaire. Luck, being in the right place at the right time, but you make your own luck through hard work, through perseverance and passion. You have to take risks to achieve something that is worthwhile. If you don't take some risk, then you have moderate success, if any. Of course, you shouldn't exaggerate. Everything in moderation, but you've got to take a risk. You've got to prepare to accept the risk. If it doesn't require risk, it's not an opportunity. Prepare to lose if you want to win. For him, progress in life is a learning process. If you don't take risk, you will never learn. When I communicated with clients in the bank who were business people, I felt how intellectually weak they were, but I was impressed by the way they think. So these were people not of a smart mind, but rather of an adventurous mind, and they made a big impression on me. You have to be willing to do something that might look stupid and might fail. If I'm alive, I'm at risk to die. You risk all the time, but if I make a choice in business, I need to be able to afford it if things go wrong. You need to accept that you may fail. In the next chapters, I will show you exactly must fail and fail many times before you become a success. Realize that you are tiny. Unimportant speck of dust of your life is very limited, so why worry? Everyone's life is limited. It is very short, and each individual has very little power, no matter how hard you work. Compared to the world, compared to the history, a person is very small. Billionaires know how to handle risk and take risks with huge upside and low downside. Where most people see a problem, billionaires see an opportunity in solving it. They use obstacles to their advantage. Don't expect success to appear at the very first try. You need to try over and over again and fail over and over again. And you need to do it right only once. Once you finally succeed, you become an overnight success. There's a lot of failures along the way. It's part of the process. You can't be successful without having failures. It's not possible. The only people that don't make mistakes are the people that don't do anything. If you want to stay out of trouble, you can go and work for the government. Success is continually to be willing to fail. If you want to do business, you've got to get your hands dirty. You've got to be prepared to walk it, come what may. And you've got to tell yourself that you're going to fall many times and you're going to fail many times and you're going to lose many times. And those are not problems. Those are testing moments for you to overcome. If you take that with the right mindset, it's a piece of cake. Let's just start with the basic thing of what's an entrepreneur. If you look at all the humans in the world, you categorize them into three types of people. One group of people who say, I can think about the problem, I can tell you what the problem is, and all of us are very good at it. So we call them human beings. Everyone is a person who can tell you what the problems are. The second group are the people who will come up with the solutions. They will tell you the solution to the problem is. These are visionaries. These are the people who would call professors the only type of person who goes out and does something about it. And he says, to hell with it. I'm going to go out and do it. And those are the people who are entrepreneurs. You can be an entrepreneur inside a company, inside a personal relationship, or starting a company. So entrepreneurship is not necessarily about starting a business, but about solving a problem. Jack Cohen's attitude is, if you have not had a few failures, you haven't tried enough. You've been slack and lazy. So never look back, don't dwell on your failures, instead focus on what you can do to improve them in the future. Billionaires are willing to fail, accept their failures, learn from them, improve, move on, and never look back. They test their ideas and know that mistakes are inevitable to tell their good ideas from the bad ones and move forward. I asked him about the secret of his success. His answer, never accept a no. Never accept a no. If you accept, you lose. When you hear a no, don't just accept. You need to find a way. When I started the business, I came from the province into the biggest city of Brazil to do business, with studios from Hollywood. Can you imagine it? It wasn't easy. I didn't know anyone. The people were a little arrogant. I was a salesman, and it was difficult to arrange an appointment because people didn't want to talk to me. Lirio wasn't deterred by this. One client I wanted very much when I started was Warner, and the guy who worked there was a Brazilian man, very complicated, arrogant. So I heard a lot of no's for years, but one day I convinced him. He worked with me until I closed the recording business last year. Here he was, but at the start it was very difficult, and at the end, Lirio managed to convince all the 6 major film corporations to work with him exclusively, thus holding over 90% of the Brazilian market in his hand. He told me it helps to understand no as maybe. You have to believe and then work very hard and not give up. These days, I give young people the example of a marathon runner, because life is a marathon, not a 100-meter dash. You can fall and still win the race in 42 kilometers. I tell them these things because that's my life also. It's been a roller coaster, a marathon. There's a difference between failure and final defeat. You can only be defeated if you give up after a failure. Don't do it. Don't take the easy way out. Instead, persevere.
The difference between defeat and success is the thin line between giving up and continuing to move forward. In case you fall, don't sacrifice your goal. Just choose another way. If you failed once, try again until you succeed. As long as you don't give up, you haven't really failed. Failure only happens when you give up. Everything else is just simply a pivot. There is no success without suffering. If you have to suffer to succeed, make tough decisions. If you think that there is no end in sight to the road you're on, you have to get out. You cannot insist on a business where you're not successful. Of course, you have to be patient, but if you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, you have to cut your losses. It's difficult, but once you make the decision, you feel better. In Turkish, we have a saying, cut the arm. You know, the body doesn't go away. You have to cut the arm sometimes. Cut your losses if you can't win. Don't lie to yourself. Take the losses if there is no straight line to profit. Peter Hargreaves stops the project immediately as soon as he realizes it won't work. When I met the American celebrity billionaire Mark Cuban in Monaco, he told me business was the ultimate sport. It is played without end, without interruption, and without rules, and there is always somebody who is trying to knock you out. So if you want to win in this game, you can't afford to stop competing even for a second. In many sciences, scientists manage to explore something at the end and are done. There is nothing similar in business. What works here is that as soon as you fall asleep, somebody is going to come to eat you. It's impossible to say, okay, the next year I'm fine, I will feel good. You can't feel relaxed at any time.
I always felt the way to become successful was to do all the hard things. Do everything you feel is hard rather than try to take an easy route. If you just keep doing that and take the next step forward, that usually works. Easy paths don't usually lead you to a good outcome. So do the hard things, and then you can do the easy things after the hard things are done. If I don't give 100% on everything, if I only give 98% and I failed, would I regret that I didn't give the other 2% my whole life? Would I go to my grave going, I wonder if? And I never want to be in a wonder if position. The biggest advantage that you can have in business is loving the industry you're in, because you're not working then. It's almost a pleasure to come to work. It's almost a hobby, and I love this business, and I do love this industry. I have other small ventures outside of this business, but I don't love them, whereas I love this, so that makes a big difference. If you're interested in something, you can't tell the difference between work and play. If you're interested in it because you really like it, then it comes easy to you, because if you don't enjoy it, eventually you will fail, and that's the most important thing, being able to identify where you belong and what makes you happy. Let me put it this way, in all fairness, there is nothing I would rather do than what I'm doing. There is nothing, if you ask me to be Prime Minister, no, I have the best job in the world, and I did it all the years. Fast means flawless execution, absolute focus, speed, and time management. In short, efficiency. How efficient, how fast are you in your execution? Execution is everything. You can be a professor at Harvard Business, but if you don't have the execution, you will never succeed. People think a strategy or even a market position is the most important thing for success, but I say no. There's maybe 15 or 20%, 80% of your success is execution. The ability to actually put your ideas into life, into reality. The first things I need to do are the things I don't like to do. Why? Because it makes the other things easy. When you delay it for tomorrow, then if you have to do it tomorrow, it's even worse. So if you have something to do you don't like, someone you need to call, and you don't take this call because you know that person would complain, or have trouble, or you don't like the person, you need to fire someone who's disgusting, then it's the first thing to do. At the end, we need to stay with the easy things to do, things that are pleasurable. Peter Hargreaves asked himself 2 questions every morning. Who do you least want to speak to? And what task do you least want to do? Inevitably, these are your 2 top priorities of the day. You should immediately speak to the person you don't want to speak to and complete the task you didn't want to do. Those 2 things will clog in your mind, and you will have a great day from then on. Something my dad taught me was go after one thing hard and do it till it's done. Just focus until it's there, until you've achieved what it is you wanted to accomplish. I believed in that, and I do believe in that. You must time everything.
You must measure everything, and you've got to be disciplined. You cannot win in rowing teams without being disciplined and being a team player. Even if you're the leader, you have to be a team leader. And why would you want to get into a race and not measure how well you do? Business is like that. Measure, measure, measure. I always think I took maximum risk in my life. Although as time goes by, when you get older, everyone, including myself, wants to take less risk. It needs the sum of the accumulated experience and intellect to understand how much risk you can actually take on. That's what I called preparedness for the business. Give the thread the most strain without breaking it. That's how you achieve maximum velocity. For example, in the first 5 to 7 years, we didn't make any money because we were opening new branches, and every month we should open P&L statements, and we were scared to see that it would either be a loss or a zero. But we continued to open new branches, but it was only 25, 27 back then. The difference between financially successful people, millionaires, and financially super successful people, billionaires, boils down to the fact that the latter got pleasure making money and they don't enjoy spending it. Use every opportunity to learn. You never know what's going to be good for you, so learn whatever and wherever possible. I think the one best thing to learn is to keep an open mind and listen and ask the right questions. And I think everybody is a teacher. Every moment is a learning opportunity. Even simply talking to your customers and talking to your employees. So if you keep an open mind, that's where you learn and people will give you good feedback. For your development in business and in private life, it's essential to stay young in mind. Be curious, be open to new ideas, explore new opportunities. Peter Stordon considers being open-minded to the most important character trait for a business person, next to honesty. It's important that you're open, that you listen to people around you, rather than to insist you have the right answers. One important thing is the ability to draw conclusions from defeats, to continuously learn and after all self-improve, or the ability to accept that you manage people smarter than yourself and take for yourself what is best in those people, and a continuous search for such people from whom you can keep learning. Michael's advice is above all to fight with your weaknesses and limitations. I want to do what I'm doing well, and I want to be better than what I was in the past. I generally don't compete with anyone else, but I compete with my own performance of the past. It's very hard to win somebody's trust, but once you've got it, you'll probably have it for life, and you can lose it in an instant by lying. I believe that once you've lost somebody's trust, you've lost it forever. Sure, they can forgive, sure the relationship can be maintained, but it's not the same as it was before they believed you always tell the truth. Life's so much easier when you're telling the truth. I learned more importantly than ever, never to lie, ever, because if they catch you lying, you can forget about it. Very important. Help someone who needs it, and help as many people as possible. Nothing will give you more happiness and more fulfillment than truly doing something for someone without expecting anything back. And the moment of joy you get from that, there's nothing in life you could own that will give you that much joy. The price of success is much lower than the price of failure. The success of life can only be measured by the degree of happiness you reach. You will have to fail many times before you succeed, so be willing to fail, but don't give up. Persevere and keep fighting. Don't be afraid to be different. Do not conform. Your passions will enable you to work hard for many years on the way to your dreams and overcome all the obstacles. And that's a wrap on this book summary, $1 Billion Secret. If you want the PDF version, click the link below. We at bestbookbits have done over 1,000 book summaries in video, written, and audio format. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have also put together our top 450 best book bits summaries in one massive downloadable PDF. Click the link to check this out. Thank you.